Yo, welcome back to Business Casual. I'm your host, Miles Brown. And today's topic is don't live with regret. And I know that sounds super obvious. It's cliche like, oh man, just live your life without regret. But the older you get, you realize that it's easier said than done, And about a week ago, a lot of people know that I do the art, and I got this email, and the email was like, hey, we saw your website, really liked a couple of, like 2 or 3 of the paintings. They were really nice. And we want you to be a part of this art show. And then I read the next line and it says, Venice, Italy. And I'm like, I haven't really been doing art on a professional level for that long. And for my first show that I'm being requested to go, from my original gallery showing, me and my art director, I paid for the venue, I set it up, I was, involved in promotion, inviting everybody, but this would be the first time I would be participating in a show that wasn't something I actually put on from the ground up. And for it to be out in Italy, I'm like, I got 3 kids. It's in April. It's like a short time frame from now. What do I do? Do I do this thing that is requiring me to push myself out my comfort zone? Or do I say, no, I'll just wait for an opportunity that's a little easier to accommodate? And I realized I wanted an excuse after talking to my cousin. And my cousin, he's a little bit older than me, wiser in a lot of ways. He's been through a lot. And he told me a story about how when he was a young man, he had mentioned to his mom that he really wanted to be a sports agent for basketball. And by happen chance, she's a very praying woman, loves the Lord. And she ran into somebody who literally was a sports agent for overseas basketball talent. And he's like, yeah, sure, I want to give back. Like, here's my card. Have him reach out to me, and he can come out the country and do scouts with me before he gets to college or whatever. And it'll be great. It's an internship. It's not paid, but he'll learn a lot about the business and what it takes to survive. And she comes back, give him the information, and he was telling me he had a girlfriend at the time, and he had a little camp job lined up. So he was like, man, I'm gonna have money, I got my girl, and I know I want to be in this career, but I got time. And he was like, by the end of the summer, he had blew through all of the money, and he didn't have that girl. But it wasn't until years later that he looked back on that opportunity and he had regrets, like legit regrets about, I love what my life is now, very successful, but I do wonder what my life would or could have been had I jumped on that opportunity and maybe not been so thirsty for money and women at that moment. And it got me to thinking about my own journey and how when I was in high school, I was in science and technology on a great, career path, very business minded, raised by a bunch of entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs in my family. And a teacher, I had mentioned to a teacher, I took an art class and I was like, man, I just enjoy doing this. This is like amazing if I could do a career in this. And my teacher pulled me to the side and was like, you're on a better path than art. Like, forget about art. Do what's going to get you some money, And years later, my passion for money died. Like, I still like money. I still believe it's a great tool. But the passion for art didn't. And a part of me regretted not staying focused on my skills. And for the Lord to like reignite that passion in me in my 20s and have me start doing the collection again. And it was really late 20s at that point, but getting my passion going again and, building the courage to do my own gallery show and all of the great people that I met. I met Amir Browder through Jared Hendricks and these great artists and creatives, and like my life, just knowing these people has been so much more fulfilling on a creative side, just because they're so passionate about what they do and what they bring to the world. And what I took from that conversation was, don't let money, time, or whatever you perceive your responsibilities to be leave you with regrets later on. Because I tried to really make an excuse for myself, like, oh man, they want X amount to enter into the gallery show. They want, it's going to cost X amount to fly out to Italy and to chill there for like 5 or 6 days and, be on the scene and kind of, present my work. But as my cousin was talking about that time, it was almost as if he felt like it was yesterday. Like he vividly put himself back at that time, and he's like, man, if I could tell my younger self to just forego those cheeks and forego that money for an opportunity that may never present itself again, it would be without a shadow of a doubt, I'd say, take that opportunity. And so I guess my message today is the same message that I had to have with myself and my cousin, is that don't make no excuses when the Lord opens up a door for you. If it's just money standing in your way, money comes, money goes. If it's time away from family, you got your whole life to be with your family. I take care of my kids while my wife is at work during the day because I own my company. So I'd rather not pay for a daycare. I mean, screw it. I love my kids. They don't hinder me in my business. So it's just like, I don't feel like me leaving for 5 or 6 days is going to like ruin our connection, as a parent. They might miss me for a little bit. I might miss them. But my wife, she's like supportive, like, oh man, you should definitely do that. That's love. I wish I could go, but somebody got to watch these kids, and my funds ain't that crazy to just, I got a lot of irons in the fire to be bringing all of us out there right now. But as a personal individual level, I think a lot of us, we don't go for our dreams, and we put a lot of decisions off on the fact that we have kids, the fact that we have responsibilities, the fact that, we're running businesses and this, that, and the third. But it's just like, don't have a regret. The story of your life is being made every single day. And 5 or 10 years, even a year from now, with this opportunity in front of me, the question my cousin asked me was, would I regret not going as much as going? And it was a clear yeah. Yeah, I'd regret not seeing this opportunity be the game changer. And my cousin, like, he was like, he brought up game changer. He was like, that time in his life where he had this opportunity to be a intern for a sports agent, that could have been a game changer. So now when people come to him with these ultimatums and like, yo, what you think I should do? It could be a game changer. Do you really want to look back and be like, oh, this little bit of money at that time stopped me from doing this, or this little bit of time away from my peoples stopped me from, or this little bit of challenge to do something out your comfort zone stopped me from doing this? Like, the regret, living with that type of regret is insane, because it eats you up with the what ifs. What if this? What if that? What if? I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live with any more what ifs. And the older I get, the more I realize that these opportunities, these career changes, not everybody is fortunate enough to chase their passion, to have the time or the money or the energy or the support system of a wife and kids and family who are supportive of, yo, push. This is your dream. This is something you've always wanted to do. And I talk about the time when I was in London with my homies and we went to the Tate Modern, and I'm like, yo, this is my goal. And that was the beginning of formulating all of the paintings and putting them into a collection for it to manifest 2 or 3 years after that, get my gallery, have my paintings. I put a website together, and now I'm being reached out to go back out to Europe. What a full circle moment. I don't know if I could live with the regret of not seeing what if, seeing what's out there, taking a chance. And hopefully I'm a motivational story for the next person who finds themselves with a game changer in front of them, and maybe they don't have a personal person like my cousin to fuel their fire to push forward and do it. Hopefully you hear this message and you realize, don't take that opportunity for granted, because it may not ever come back around again. And don't spit in Yahweh's face when you pray for things and then it comes in a package that you're not ready for. Remember, you asked for these opportunities. And that's the same thing I have to say to myself. I prayed to get back out to Europe off of the strength of my talent. And the door is knocking, and it's not as simple as I thought it would be. But the Lord gave me all the strength and everything to rise to this occasion and make a move. Are you man or are you mouse? Are you a woman or are you a duck? What you gonna do? Stick your head in the water or fly south? Gotta make that move. So hopefully I can give you guys some updates on how that goes and shoot some pictures out there on like LinkedIn and Instagram. And follow my journey, man. You know, like not every message is going to be this clear. But I know you know what you'll regret if you don't take the opportunity. And I'm not going to ever tell anybody to make an excuse for themselves to not go, even myself. I wanted badly to have an excuse. And I didn't call the people that would have went along with the excuse. I called the people that I know that would have motivated me to push me towards my dreams. And that's half the battle. Knowing who's going to push you forward. Knowing who the Lord put in your circle that has that energy that wants you to succeed, as opposed to crabs in a barrel pulling you down. You can tell the difference. You know the crab in the barrel. You know the people who, if you call them, they'll go along with your BS. Yeah, that's a lot of money, bruh. Yeah, that's a, man, you don't speak Italian, what you doing out there? Man, they hit you up last minute. You think they even really want you? Like, it's a lot of excuses and stuff that go through your mind that if you share that with the wrong people, they will amplify the negative. But then there's people that if you share that with, they'll love you enough to not want you to be a cautionary tale 10 years later, 5 years later of, man, he always talking about that time they asked him to come do X, Y, and Z, and he ain't take the chance, and he just ornery, you know, he mad. He's like upset with the world and life because he didn't take his shot. Don't be that person, bruh. I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to take my shot. And if it gets shut down out of powers outside of me, that's one. And that, you know what? That's funny because when they asked me to come, but I also had to present a packet. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to present the packet. And if they like, all right, it's all good, we don't want you, then that'll be my out. Literally the next day, they hit me back. Oh, great. Love to have you. So glad you responded. Glad to have you. Come on out. I'm like, oh, man. Now that's not an excuse. You know? So just know that Yahweh got you. You can make more money if you got to spend something to get to where you got to go. You can spend more time with your family. You can do all of these things, but only you are living your life. Only you will have to live with the regret. And only you, well, more than just you, may benefit from your accomplishments of going. Because the what ifs could turn into the it almost didn't happen. And matter of fact, the regrets will hurt your family too, because you may end up taking it out on them subconsciously. So do the best thing for you and your family and chase your passions, your ambitions, especially if they align with the Lord. If they align with what Yahweh will have you do, keep pushing forward. Until next time, I'm your host, Miles Brown. Don't give up. Pray to Yahweh that he'll make a way. Don't be worried about spending that money. You'll get it back. I ain't saying destroy your needs. I'm talking about wants. If you got to push your wants back for a little bit, do what you got to do and make it happen. Peace. Peace.